Hello and welcome to another Ask Nerida Joy video. I do have a familiar face. This is Kritika that's with us here today. We have had her here once before. Kritika is a drier skin client. We did our first treatment with her, and what Kritika has, once I take off her makeup, you will see again that she has these two brown spots, one larger brown spot up here by her eye and a smaller one over here by the other eye. So we started her, we last filmed her about 3 weeks, almost 3 weeks ago, and she's been using home care for her skin during that time. I today am going to be giving her something stronger to especially start working on the brown spot. So it was not something that I gave her after the last treatment. I wanted her to start getting used to different treatment products on her skin so that we're prepping the skin for now the next product, which is going to be this little one here, which is the de-clearing gel. And this product here is especially for brown spots. So I will be putting this on her when she leaves this evening. And it does stay on a clean skin, and it stays on for 6 to 8 hours with nothing under it and nothing over it, but it is especially for brown spots. So it's perfect for what we're working with Kritika. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cleanse off her skin, take her off her makeup so we can have a look and see how her skin's doing. Now it's really important when you're working with a drier skin, as Kritika's skin is a drier skin, it's important to make sure that you're never using any cleanser that's foaming on the skin. And it's nice to, she could even use a milky cleanser if she liked the feel of a milky cleanser, especially during the winter months. Or what you can also do is use a milky cleanser in the morning and a gel cleanser in the evenings. And because she does wear a reasonable amount of makeup, which is also excellent because it really protects your skin when you wear makeup. But as I said, in cleansing, it's really nice. She could use maybe a gel cleanser at night, and then a light milky cleanser in the morning could be an option for her. So there's nothing wrong with having a couple of cleansers. And even sometimes as the second cleanse, because as you know, I'm a big advocate in cleaning your skin twice at night. The first one you remove with a warm wet washcloth. Now that cleanse on Kritika could be, for instance, the K gel cleanser, the non-foaming gel cleanser, and then her second cleanse that she put on after the gel cleanser could also be a milky cleanser. She could go that route, especially in the cooler months, the winter months. So it's nice to have options, and sometimes it's nice to have a couple of different products that you've got that you can really maneuver and work with, because some days your skin might just be feeling a little bit drier. So it's really nice to have the option. So what I'm going to do, because Kritika has the little extensions on her lashes, I'm going to get a piece of cotton, put a little bit of cleanser on the cotton, and I'm going to go up very gently under the eye and make sure I really clean well around the eye area. So what we're doing, I've got a little bit of cotton, and I put some cleanser on it, the K cleanser, and rubbed it together like this. And this is just getting up very close under the lashes, because we want to be very careful of those individual lashes. A lot of people are wearing them now, so it's nice to make sure that you're just being very gentle around that area. And we're going to just use this piece here. We're just going to take off the lipstick there a little bit too. Okay, so we're going to take off the cleanser. So we've cleansed Kritika's skin with a K cleanser. I've used a piece of cotton with a little bit of the K cleanser on it. I've gone up close around the eye area just to clean off that eye area, being very gentle because she does have the extensions on her lashes. And what's really important when you start working with retinols, and I just want to talk about this a little bit, because I know a lot of you, when you start working with retinols, non-prescription retinols as well, whether they be serum or retinol creams, that it's really it takes a little while for the skin sometimes to get used to it. So if you're using a retinol cream, you want to make sure that you're layering serums underneath your retinol cream, so it's really protecting the skin before you put your retinol cream on, because retinols are active and they often can make the skin a little bit red and a little bit dry when you first start working with them. If you are using a retinol serum, it's important to, again, mix it with other serums that are not retinol and start layering the skin so that you're not just putting retinol directly on the face, because if you do, prescription strength or not, a lot of the time your skin will get a little bit red and irritated and dry. So we want to be very careful we're not drying the skin out too much. So you really want to be layering it. And it's perfectly fine to put a moisturizer on over top of your non-prescription retinol as well, so that you're really making sure that you're not going too aggressive with it and it's going to dry and make your skin really sensitive. So I'm going to do one more cleanse on Kritika, and I'm going to do it because she wears a fair amount of makeup to protect her skin, which is a really great thing. I'm a huge believer in using makeups, mineral makeups. I love them myself, and just working with them to really protect the skin, protect your skin from the environment, and it keeps your skin really healthy underneath. So don't be afraid to be, again, layering, putting makeup, wearing makeup on your skin on a regular basis, because underneath that your skin is going to be a better quality skin as a result of just the fact that you're protecting it so much. So we're doing our second cleanse now. And I'm just doing a second cleanse on Kritika because she wears quite a lot of makeup. So if someone wears a lot of makeup or sunscreen, and obviously at nighttime yourself anyway, you are cleansing twice at night. The first cleanse, it comes off with a warm, wet washcloth. The second one, you just rinse it off. And you're always using a lukewarm water. Okay, so we've done our second cleanse on Kritika. I'm going to use the exfoliating mask on her skin right now. Her skin is looking really nice. It looks really nice and healthy, so I'm glad I'm going to be now starting and being more aggressive on these brown spots, these areas over here. We are going to start working with the treatment product, and then she's going to be taking it home and using it on a regular basis at home as well. So we have a little bit of healing gel, about half and half. Half healing gel, half exfoliating mask, and we're going to be working this together, and then we're going to be putting it on Kritika's skin. Her skin looks really good. The quality of her skin looks really good. She's been really good with her regimen, I can tell, just by looking at her skin. So now that we've prepped her skin, it's going to be a really good time to start working more aggressively with those brown spots. So we've worked the healing gel and the exfoliating mask into her skin. I'm going to get some clean water and I'm going to take that off. Now when you go to remove the exfoliating mask, you want to make sure that the water is on the cooler side. Because the exfoliating mask does have a little glycolic in it, it tends to be a little bit tingly on the skin, a little bit stingy, a little uncomfortable for some people. So you want to make sure you're not adding it hot water to remove it, because it will activate it and make it sting a little bit. The same happens if you're using steam when you're using an enzyme peel that has a little glycolic in it. If you put steam on the face while you're working the exfoliant into the face, it's going to be more stingy, it's going to activate it more. And for a lot of people, it will be too strong and too much. So on a thicker skin person that doesn't have any sign of sensitivity, it would be fine to use a little steam with it as well, but I tend to not use it, as I don't want to set up a really sensitive slate on the skin before I start working and doing other things that I'm going to be doing within her treatment. So we've removed the exfoliating mask, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of healing gel on her skin right now, because her skin will be still a little bit tingly from it. And because whenever I have my clients come back in, I know what they have for their home care regimen, which is what we prescribe their first treatment. So I know what she's been using at home. But when they come back, I want to give the skin a boost and I want to take it to that next level. So I am going to be working with retinols, and I'm going to be working again with my Q Flavonoid today. And I'm also going to be working with another treatment serum that I'm putting on her skin that does hydrate the skin, and it has a lot of the peptides and things in it too. So we're going to be working that into her skin as well today. So I've got healing gel on my hands here, and I'm just putting it on her skin because her skin's a little bit stingy. Now I can see that Kritika's skin is much healthier than last time, and I will put a picture from her previous treatment in right now so that you can see where her skin was at when we first started. It looks to me that the lines on her forehead are not as deep as they were when I first saw her, and also just the texture of her skin looks better, and it definitely feels better. Her pore size looks sort of better here on this part of her cheek as well. So she's been working with some treatment products at home, and just her skin's it's feeling better. It's feeling healthier. Her levels underneath are feeling a little bit more hydrated underneath. She mentioned that on the surface of her skin it's feeling a little bit drier. So we are going to be hydrating, and I will be giving her a more hydrating cream to use at home as it is getting cooler over here. And in the winter months, it's often really nice to have something that's quite nourishing for your home care regimen, obviously, to use either day or night, and just work that into the regimen. So we are going to be I'm using my retinol serum here, and I'm going to just work this into her skin because, as I said earlier, I really want to give her skin a boost, and retinols are an amazing boost to the skin. Kritika does have a little bit of KP on her arms, which is the keratosis pilaris. She does not show signs of it on her face, but it is on her arms. So we do know that she has a sensitivity to sugar. If she's really good with her sugar, she'll notice that her KP will get better. Okay, so what I have here is some eye cream. I'm going to work the eye cream in around Kritika's eye area. And I'm going to put a nice amount around her eye area because I know it's going to be absorbed pretty quickly. So we want to just work that in. I'm going to massage it in individually before I start working on the face more shortly. I think ultimately it's really nice when you have an eye cream to use in the daytime, and because a lot of the gels they sort of get crumbly when you put your makeup on around the eyes, and I think it's nice to use the gel at nighttime because often people wake up a little puffy with dark circles, or definitely puffy, so the gel really caters to helping the puffiness and still hydrates, so it's still nourishing, you know, our fine little lines around our eye area. But then you've got the cream, which tends to be nice in the daytime. So for on a drier skin, it's nice to have both. It's nice to have an eye cream for the day use and an eye gel at night. And I'm going to use the little extra eye cream I have just above her lip area right here. So an eye cream is made for the eye area because the molecules in an eye cream are very refined. The skin around our eyes is a lot thinner than other parts of the face, and you do not have any sebaceous activity directly around the eye area. So it's important to have a really refined eye cream that is nourishing but not too much, not too heavy on the skin, because often if you go too heavy and you're using a really nourishing treatment product on the face, but you also put it around your eyes, often you can end up with little milias around the eye. So you want to make sure you want a very fine cream but that's nourishing, but it's not going to suffocate and cause any problems with little milias later on. So we've got the retinol on her skin. We've got healing gel, we've got retinol, we've put on an eye cream. I'm going to work in some of the Q Flavonoid into her skin. And I'm going to mix my Q Flavonoid with another serum that is really just going to... Now I have several serums here, and this one that I'm using, it has a function in it which really helps to relax the muscles. It has that little Botox function in it too. So it's really nice when a skin, you know, you have somebody who has a lot of expression in their face, or someone who really doesn't want to have the Botox but just wants to be able to get some benefits of a more relaxed wrinkle. And this particular one, which is the Bio-rejuvenating, it's something that you can add as a bonus to any of the treatments that I've been doing, because we all have wrinkles, and we all get wrinkles as we get a little older, and some more so than others. But it's just a really nice product, and it's a nice serum to have to really just help relax, and it has that little extra boost in there. So it really is a great serum. So we're going to work it into the skin for a little bit, and then I'm going to be adding some hydrating treatment and do a little massage on her skin now. So I have some hydrating mask on my hand, and this is a really great treatment product. It's called a hydrating mask, so it is a hydrating mask. It's an actual mask. I often sell this to my clients to use as a nourishing cream when people are really, really dry. It has shea butter and it has sumac extract. It's very heavy, very thick, it doesn't move. But it's a wonderful moisturizer for someone who's super duper dry, or if someone's flying and it's winter and their skin just dries out really quickly. It offers that protection, but I use it always as my massage cream, even though I have a massage cream that's especially termed a massage cream. I really love working with this as a massage cream because just the hydration levels are just so wonderful in the skin. And what I'm going to add to it is a little bit of my massage oil. The massage oil is a really nice oil. It has got the gamma-linolenic acid, which comes from evening primrose, and it's a really light oil, but I like sometimes to add it and mix it with certain things when I'm doing my massage. It's a really great oil for stretch marks, and I actually used it when I was pregnant myself on areas around my groin and my stomach area, and I did not get any stretch marks when I was pregnant, and that's what the doctor had claimed, the developer of the product had claimed to me, that you will not get stretch marks if you use it. And I thought, well, I'll give it a go and try. And he was absolutely right. So I really like this oil because it's just a very light oil. I'm not a huge oil fan where it's a very heavy oil, where it's high in essential oils either. But I particularly like this oil just to add to treatment products, to just help give it a little bit more of a boost. So I'm always looking for anything that's going to give the skin a boost, and for different reasons, because everyone's skin is different. So in Kritika's case, her skin is a drier skin, and she's, just to give that skin a boost, to add a little bit more, I'm going to be working in and doing many different coats of many layers with different treatment products, because they're all so great, and it'll just make her skin better. The more I do with layering, the better the skin's going to be, and the more hydrated and healthy the skin's going to be. So we're just doing, we're going to work in these products, and we're just going to do a nice little massage here now and really help just pick up the skin, give it a really nice massage. Her skin feels so much better than last time when we filmed her. And what I'm feeling in how her skin feels better, it's just her levels are more hydrated. And that's what's really nice, is that when to build and to have a healthy skin, you have to have hydrated levels in the skin. So it's really nice when you can feel the skin feels supported and protected, and that's what happens when your levels are really hydrated. So while I'm massaging, I'm going to speak about something that I was asked at a workshop I did recently, and someone had said to me they find it really difficult to prescribe products to clients and for them to actually purchase the products, what they recommend. And I remember a long time ago when I first started in beauty school and out of beauty school, that people, I felt really bad about prescribing clients products, because I was always worried that maybe they can't afford it or they're so expensive, and it wasn't until years later that I realized that I was really doing my clients a disjustice by not prescribing, because what happened is when my clients would come back for their next treatment, what would happen is that their skin wouldn't be as good. It wouldn't be where it should have been if I would have prescribed them the product and, they were using it, then the skin would have been in a much better place. So what I said to this particular person who asked me and said they find it really hard to prescribe products and for the clients to purchase them because they go elsewhere and buy products. So I think that what's really important is that once you analyze somebody's skin and you point out what's going on with their skin, the concerns that you see on their skin, and of course you're addressing concerns that they have too with their own skin. But once you point out what you see on their skin and what you can make better for them, then you have to kind of set up a prescription for them. So I would say to my clients, okay, this is what I see what's going on with your skin. And I know that if you start using this serum and you start using this treatment product, that your skin on your eye area or your face is going to be 30% better within 2 weeks. So I know once you start working with different products, just where your skin should be. And that's what's really important for you to recommend to your clients, is that know your products, know your tools, number one. And number two, prescribe and give them an idea, your client an idea about where their skin should be, once they start using it for so long. So that's really important to recommend and to prescribe and just let them know where their skin should be and how much better it's going to be. And so I think it's important to give them that picture in the long run, that if they're using this product, that this is what should happen and this is what will help their skin and how it will help their skin. You have to tell them what to expect when they start using the product. And of course they have to be doing it regularly, because being regular with your regimen is really important. So you have to give them the picture, and then next time when you see them, you can tell that they've been using their products and you have more control on what's happening. Because I always say, I can't guarantee my work if you're not using the products that I recommend for you. So it's something that requires communication with your clients, but you also have to set up the picture for them of where their skin's going to be if they do start using what you recommend. It's very, very important to prescribe, and if you're not prescribing to your clients, then you're going to lose them and they'll buy elsewhere and they're not going to get the results. So they might also go elsewhere just to try to get better treatments and to get their skin in a better place. So it's very, very important that you prescribe, and that way you're getting your client's skin to a certain place, but you also can really sort of guarantee your work, and that's super important. And it's the same when you prescribe. It's the same when you let your client know when they should come back and see you. Because some of my clients, I tell them I don't need to see you for 2 or 3 months, because their skin is great and they've got all their home care regimen. As long as they've got their home care regimen, then that's what's most important, is what they do on a daily basis. And there are other clients that you might need to see more often because they tend to be more oily and they need the extractions to have their pores cleaned. So if it's just very important to prescribe and just let your client know, what to expect and how much better their skin should be if they're doing their regimen and they're coming and seeing you every so many, month or every couple of months. It's just really important to verbalize that to them and then give them the choice of what it is they want to do and where they want their skin to be. So it's just something that I did want to point out. It's very important, and I make sure that my clients know where their skin is at, where it should be, and how it is and what it is I can do to make their skin better. So that's really important. We constantly want to be moving their skin to that next level, and they do too, because none of us want to age and get wrinkles. We all want to be keeping our skin in the best shape possible moving forward. So it's really important to constantly be talking to your clients about it and just how how they can benefit their skin, what it is they need to do to benefit their skin, what's going to keep their wrinkles the lightest possible, what's going to keep their pore size small, what's going to keep their skin firm, help the neck area. You know, don't be lazy with treatments. Make sure you always mention you're looking at their neck, you're looking at the décolleté. All of these things are really important. So we've worked these treatment products into Kritika's skin, and I'm actually going to do a little AHA on her because I want to give her skin a boost with the Fruit Complex number 1. I'm going to then go back over her brown spots and do the Fruit Complex number 2 on her brown spots. So I will be layering with that. So because I'm going to be doing a Fruit Complex on her, I'm actually going to now remove the excess of the treatment product on her skin so we can then put on the Fruit Complex. I'm just going to do a little bit more on her forehead because she has a lot of little expression lines on her forehead. Okay, so we're going to take it off now with a warm towel. And again, I'm not going to be scrubbing off the cream, but we are just going to lightly take it off. Normally at home, you would not be taking it off, you would just leave it on the skin. But because in treatments I'm doing many different things and I need to have the skin a certain way for different applications, I will be putting things on, taking them off, putting more things on, and so on. Okay, so I have my Fruit Complex number 1. I'm going to shake it up. I'm going to split my cotton round in 2 and apply it. So I'm going to work it, I'm going to do both upward motions in working it into the skin. It's going to be a little stingy on Kritika, but I'm also going to do it, I want to get it into the wrinkle. And whenever you're working in anything, you really want to sort of make sure that you're getting it into the wrinkle, which is why I tend to work with cotton rounds more when I'm applying things now than Q-tips. Because Q-tips, unless I'm getting into a little small crevicey area, maybe around the sides of the nose, sometimes I may use a Q-tip. But otherwise, I'm going to, I like to work with a cotton because I know I can saturate an area a little bit better and it tends to get into areas better than a Q-tip. So I'm just going to do one more application with my Fruit Complex number 1. And now I'm just going to be going around, just using the other half of the cotton round. Now the Fruit Complex number 1 is a complex, so it has your different alpha hydroxy acid molecules. And what that means is they're all a different weight and a different size. They get to different levels in the skin. It is within a lipoceutical vehicle, which really allows for lesser irritation on top, so it's not too stingy and burning on your client, and it doesn't make the skin red. But it gets down to the levels where it needs to go. So your vehicle, your carrier of your ingredients are really important. You want to make sure they're not irritating on the surface and burning and frying the surface, because then you've created a very sensitive slate and it's going to be really hard for you to fix that to then be able to move forward, as well as the fact that it often doesn't get down to areas where it really needs to be to get results. So that is a Fruit Complex number 1. Now this is a Fruit Complex number 2. So the Fruit Complex number 1 was a 25%, the pH being a little bit lower than 3.0. This one here is a Fruit Complex number 2. That means that it is a 35%. It's a little bit stronger, and what I'm going to be doing is going back on the brown spots themselves and doing layering over top of the Fruit Complex number 1, the number 2. Now, because I'm just doing a very small area with the number 2, I'm actually going to be using my Q-tip, and we're going to just do this on the spot, the brown spot. So we're going to leave that on the skin for a few minutes now, and we'll be back to take it off with some cool water and sponges. Okay, so we are back. We left, she's got the Fruit Complex number 1 all over her face. I went back with the Fruit Complex number 2, put that just on the 2 brown spots either side, and now we're going to get ready to take that off with some cool water and sponges. AHAs and retinols are so wonderful in how they work on the skin. They really change the skin, and it's what builds a really strong skin. It's what builds a strong foundation under the skin. I am a huge fan of both of them. And your alpha hydroxy acids, again, being your glycolic, lactic, malic, tartaric, and citrus, are your 5 main alpha hydroxy acids. And I've verbalized them then from small to large in molecule size and weight, so that they all work on different levels of the skin, which is great to be able to work with a complex. And it's just very important. I myself use retinols in the evenings and I use AHAs in the daytime. And my skin is as good as it was 10 years ago, if not better, because I'm very diligent with my retinols and my AHAs. And that's the difference, is before, when I used treatment products, I wasn't always using retinols and AHAs. But as I've got older, I find the need to, because I'm getting older and my skin really needs that boost, and to keep it as strong and sturdy without having to go too crazy. And I'm trying to avoid maybe having a facelift and do all these things that one thinks about when they get older, or not. But I don't want it to be my route. So we would just want to keep the skin as healthy as possible. So I've removed the fruit complex number 1 and number 2 on her spots as well. Her skin is looking really good. I mean, it just looks soft. It looks great. Her foreheads, the lines on her foreheads look really, it looks really good as well. I might ask the cameraman too if he can bring the camera on over here to have a look at these lines on her forehead, because you're going to see that they've definitely softened. They're not as deep as they used to be. If we could slip in a picture there from our first video that we did on Kritika too, just to see how deep her forehead lines were. So it's really nice now. You'll see they're a lot lighter. Her skin's looking really good. Her skin is really healthy. It's very dewy. You can really feel those levels underneath are so nicely hydrated. And her eye area, she had the lines around her eye area as well were much more prevalent before than right now. They're much softer. She doesn't seem to have as many. It's a lot better, her skin. So as I said, what we are going to be starting shortly is we're going to be much more aggressive on those brown spots now that we've started to treat the skin overall. Her skin is prepped and ready to go with that. So we're looking at the forehead here. The lines are not as deep as when we did her first treatment. Of course, today's her second treatment. They're a much lighter line up there. Even around her eye area here, it's just much better, much healthier around her eyes. And we've just done the fruit complexes on her. So we've removed the fruit complex number 1 and 2 with the cool water and sponges. And now I've got some of the firming mask on my hand. This particular mask has a little bit of retinol in it. It does not dry hard on the face, which I really like, because I'm not a huge fan of the tight drying masks, because most people have surface dryness, and anything extra that's drying on the face is only going to make it worse. So this one here is a really nice retinol mask and a firming mask, and we're going to use that on Kritika and use it all over her face right now. It's going to stay on her skin for 8 to 10 minutes, and then we're going to be removing it. So I'm just going to work it in. I like doing my circular motions. We're getting it in under any fine facial hair. Kritika doesn't have very much facial hair at all, and so we are just going to work it into these areas, making sure we don't get it in her eyelashes. Now you can use a brush. You don't have to massage it in as I do, but I like to work with my hands more than I do brushes for a couple of reasons. One is that I like to work it into the skin so that I know it's getting in there really well. And number 2 is often, when you are very busy in your business and you don't have a lot of time for cleanup, I would prefer to use as much disposable as possible. So I would prefer to use disposable sponges, and anything disposable for me is fantastic because it means I can just throw it out and therefore use brand new ones with every client, which is great. But it saves a lot of time, and it's just cleaner and much more hygienic, I think, obviously, if you're using new ones. And I mean, cleaning it is great too. But if you choose to use a brush, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, this is what I like to do because this is what I like to do and how I like to work with it. I like to be touching the skin as much as possible. I think that the hands are very healing, and massage is very important for the skin always. So I don't think you can never over massage the skin. It's very nice to be working things into the skin constantly. So we've worked that into Kritika's skin. I'm going to leave this on her skin now for 8 to 10 minutes, and then we'll be back to take it off with warm water. I am going to add a little bit more eye cream after I wash my hands, add a little bit more eye cream to her eye area while the mask is on. So I'm going to be doing that shortly, and we'll be back to take this off in 8 to 10 minutes. So we're back. We've left this the firming mask on Kritika's skin. It's been on for about 8 minutes. We're going to get ready to take it off. This particular mask, it has a little bit of the retinol palmitate in it. It has wheat germ oil, shea butter, and it is a retinol mask. It's a brightener, and it's a hydrating mask, so it doesn't dry tight on the skin anyway, and it's so nice. It's a home care product, so it's something that you can use at home and do on a weekly basis at home. It's really nice. So we're going to take that off with the warm water and sponges. I did add a little bit of the eye cream, like I said I was going to do, while the mask was setting on around her eye area again. Okay, so we're just getting the bulk off with the sponges. I always like with masks to take the bulk off with the disposable sponges, because then I just throw that out. But when you're taking off masks, if you're using towels and it gets in the sink or it gets in your washing machine, it often can clog the drains. So it's nice to sort of get rid of the bulk and just dice it out on a disposable sponge rather than put it on towels, and then, you know, when you're washing them, or it just can clog up your drains. Okay, we have 2 warm towels. I'm just going to cool them a little bit, and then we're going to be taking off Kritika's mask. Completely off. The little residue bits. So we removed the firming mask on Kritika's skin. I can see just from the mask, because again it does have retinol, we've worked retinol in, I can see that her brown spot is looking a little bit lighter than before she came in, but we are going to put on some of the real stuff that's truly just for brown spot removal, and we're going to start working with that. Darker spots are often easier to get rid of than when they're lighter brown, but dark spots in general are tricky to get rid of. So we're going to start working with the declearing gel, and then she's going to be taking it home to use on a regular basis at home. I'm going to have her start using it about 3 nights a week. The brown spot itself is going to get a little bit red, and it can get a little bit darker, but then it will do a minimal flaking on the brown spot. And this is a product here that I've opened up. Comes in a very small bottle. It's quite strong, so you only need a very small amount, and you put it directly on the brown spot. It goes on a clean skin, nothing under it, nothing over it, and she will go to bed with it on tonight. It has to stay on for 6 to 8 hours. So it's very important that nothing goes on underneath it and nothing goes on over top of it. And she'll be doing that 3 nights a week to start with. So we're going to keep an eye on her, and I'll again be posting that out on Instagram. So you'll be able to see how she's going with her brown spot until we see her next shoot. So Kritika has a very clean skin here now that the mask is removed. I'm going to put a little bit of retinol, a little bit of Q Flavonoid on her skin, all over her skin. This is the retinol serum, so it's nice and nourishing too. But I am going to be very careful. I'm not going to get it on the brown spots, because I'm going to be putting the declearing gel on the brown spot. And it can't have anything under it, and it can't have anything over it. So I'm going to be very, very careful, and we're going to stay away from those brown spots, because that's where her declearing gel will be going. And when she does it at home, she must do the same thing. She puts her treatment product around everywhere on her face, except not on her brown spot. Now I'm going to put a treatment, her nighttime moisturizer, that's going to go on over top of the Q Flavonoid and the retinol serum. And again, this is the moisturizer that is not going to be going near her brown spots. And it's only for 3 nights a week. The other nights, she's going to be putting on her regular nighttime regimen all over her face. Okay, so she's got her treatment product on. Now we're going to go ahead with the de-clearing gel. And as I said, it's quite strong. We're going to be putting this on. And I'm going to be putting it on, the de-clearing I'm going to be putting on with a Q-tip. And we're going to put it on the Q-tip. It's a little bit thicker than a regular lotion. And I'm just going to turn your head over to this side here a little bit. Thank you, Kritika. Now, often the dark spot goes darker before it gets lighter. So we want to make sure that it'll sting a little bit on her too when it goes on the skin, and it's going to stay on. So we're going to put another coat, and I'm just going to have her do it 3 times a week at night time. And she'll just be putting it directly on the brown spot. And that's it. It's put into a very small bottle to remind you use a very small amount. It's not something you put all over the face. Even with melasma all over the face, it is a spot treatment, and it's used as a spot treatment on the areas. It's quite strong. Okay, so she's going to take that home with her. And the last thing I'm going to do, and I'm going to be very careful, is just put a little bit of eye cream up close around her eyes, staying away from the areas where we just put the solution on the brown spot. So I have some eye cream, and I'm just going to be very careful in where we place it around the eyes, staying away from the brown spot. Now, it's important to verbalize to your client what to expect when you start treating brown spots. It usually, as I said, looks a little darker, and then it will get a little bit flaky. And what you'll start to notice with the brown spot is that it will start to get lighter in certain areas within the spot itself. It's not easy to treat brown spots, and even if you go to your dermatologist and have them zapped, a lot of the time they don't go away. They can often look a little bit better, or sometimes they look worse, and they get worse. So it is a tricky thing treating brown spots, whether it be in melasma form or the larger spots like this one that Kritika has. So we will be following her closely. We're going to have her back again after this evening for her next at the next shoot. And we will we'll be following her progress, and you'll be able to see the benefits that her skin will get from a hydration level. It's just going to get better and better, and already her skin looks really beautiful. But we really want to pay attention to those spots and lighten them up for her. So we have completed Kritika's facial. Thank you again for joining us. If you please follow my Instagram so you can see. We will be putting a picture out on Instagram showing her progress over the next month, and we will see you again next time. So thanks for watching, and see you soon. Bye.